If you type Stihl versus Husqvarna into YouTube right now, you are going to find hundreds of videos. Guys in flannel shirts with strong opinions. Comment sections that look like a civil war. People who have run one brand their whole life telling you the other brand is garbage. None of those videos are going to give you a straight answer, because a straight answer is complicated, and complicated does not get clicks. I am going to give you the straight answer today. And yes, it is going to be complicated, but by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly which brand to buy for your specific situation, not which brand is better, which brand is better for you. I am saw honest. Do not buy blind. Let me start by killing the question itself. Stihl versus Husqvarna is the wrong comparison. It is like asking whether Ford or Chevy makes a better truck. The answer depends entirely on which Ford and which Chevy you are talking about. A Ford Raptor and a Ford Maverick are both Fords. They have nothing in common in terms of capability, engineering, or target use. The same is true for both Stihl and Husqvarna. So the real question is never Stihl versus Husqvarna. The real question is which specific model from either brand is right for your specific use case at your specific budget. That is what this video is going to answer. I am going to break this down into 4 categories: homeowner use, farm and ranch use, semi-professional use, full professional use. In each category, I am going to tell you which brand wins, which specific model to buy, and why. Let us start with homeowner use. If you are a homeowner who cuts firewood occasionally, takes down a tree or 2 per year, cleans up storm damage, and uses a chainsaw fewer than 20 times per year, you are in the homeowner category. In this category, style wins. Not because Husqvarna makes bad homeowner saws, but because of one factor that matters more than any engineering specification in this use case: dealer network. The Stihl MS170 and MS180 are available at authorized Stihl dealers in virtually every county in the United States. When your homeowner saw needs a new chain, a spark plug, or a carburetor cleaning, you want to be able to drive 15 minutes to someone who knows the product. Stihl makes that possible more consistently than Husqvarna at this level. The Husqvarna equivalent in this category is the 120 Mark Deceno and the 135 Mark Deceno. They are good saws. The 135 Mark Deceno is arguably more refined than the MS170 in terms of vibration and starting ease. But if you live outside a major metro area, Husqvarna homeowner dealer coverage gets thin. And a saw you cannot service easily is a saw you are going to replace sooner than you should. Homeowner category winner: Stihl MS170 or MS180. Now let us talk about farm and ranch use. Farm and ranch use means you are cutting regularly, but not every day. You might cut 50 to 100 cords of firewood per year. You take down trees a few times a month. You clear fence lines. You process timber occasionally. You are not a professional, but you are not a casual user either. This is where the comparison gets genuinely interesting. In this category, both brands offer strong options, and the right choice depends on what you prioritize. If you prioritize simplicity and serviceability in the field, Stihl wins. The MS271 Farm Boss is the most popular farm chainsaw in the United States for a reason. 50.2 cc, 16 or 18-inch bar options, built for exactly this kind of use. Mechanics across the country know this saw inside and out. Parts are universal. The carburetor is straightforward to adjust. You can do most maintenance yourself with basic hand tools. If you prioritize cutting speed and power-to-weight ratio, Husqvarna wins in this category. The Husqvarna 450 Rancher and the 455 Rancher have a higher power output for their weight than the MS271. If you are processing large volumes of wood and you want to get through it faster, the Husqvarna 450 is going to move more efficiently through big timber. The trade-off is that the Husqvarna carburetor system in this price range is slightly more sensitive to fuel quality and altitude changes than the Stihl equivalent. In the Midwest and Southeast, where fuel quality is consistent and elevation is low, you will never notice this. In the Rockies or at higher elevation in the West, you may need to adjust more frequently. Farm and ranch category: Stihl MS271 for reliability and serviceability. Husqvarna 450 Rancher for cutting speed and power to weight. Now semi-professional use. Semi-professional means you use a chainsaw as a regular part of your work, but not necessarily every single day. Landscapers. Tree service crews where the chainsaw is one of several tools. Loggers who work part-time. Property managers. People who run a saw 30 to 60 days per year under real working conditions. In this category, Husqvarna pulls ahead. And the reason is the X-Cut chain system and the Autotune carburetor technology that Husqvarna introduced in their mid-professional line. The Husqvarna 550 XP Mark II is the saw that semi-professionals consistently choose when they want professional capability without the full professional price tag. 50.1 cc, weighs just over 10 pounds. Autotune carburetor that adjusts itself to altitude and temperature without manual intervention. For someone running a saw in varying conditions across different job sites, the Autotune system saves real time and reduces user error. The Stihl equivalent at this level is the MS261CM. It is an exceptional saw, and many semi-professionals prefer it specifically because the M-Tronic system is Stihl's version of electronic carburetor management. The build quality on the MS261 is arguably tighter than the 550 XP in terms of cylinder tolerance from the factory, but the 550 XP is lighter. For someone swinging a saw for 6 hours on a job site, that weight difference accumulates. By hour 4, your arms know the difference between 10 pounds and 11 pounds. Semi-professional category winner. Husqvarna 550 XP marked their second for most users. Stihl MS261CM if you prioritize tight tolerances and Stihl dealer proximity. Now, full professional use. This is where the debate gets loudest, and where the answer is most nuanced. Full professional means you run a chainsaw every working day. You are a certified arborist, a full-time logger, a wildland firefighter, a timber faller. Your saw is not a tool you own. It is a tool you depend on to make your living and go home safe at the end of the day. At this level, both brands make genuinely world-class equipment. The Stihl MS462CM and the Husqvarna 572 XP are both professional-grade saws that serious operators trust with their livelihoods. I am not going to tell you one is dramatically better than the other, because at this price point and this specification level, that would not be honest. What I can tell you is where each one wins specifically. The Stihl MS462CM wins on cylinder longevity. The bore geometry and the cylinder coating on the 462 consistently produces lower wear rates over 2,000 hours than the 572 XP. Mechanics who specialize in professional chainsaw rebuilds report this consistently. The 462 arrives at the 2,000-hour mark, with more compression remaining than the 572 XP at the same mileage. For a professional who measures saw life in years of daily use, that matters enormously. The Husqvarna 572 XP wins on power delivery and weight at displacement. The 572 makes more usable power for its displacement than the 462 in the mid-range RPM band where most reel cutting happens. For a logger who is falling big timber all day and needs maximum cutting speed through large diameter wood, the 572 XP delivers that more efficiently. There is also a regional and cultural dimension to this that nobody talks about honestly. In the Pacific Northwest and in professional logging communities in the South, Husqvarna has a stronger dealer and service infrastructure at the professional level. In the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, and in urban arborist communities, Stihl dominates. Where your nearest professional service center is located matters when your saw breaks in the middle of a job. Professional category, Stihl MS462CM for cylinder longevity and tight tolerances. Husqvarna 572 XP for maximum power delivery in large timber applications. So here's the answer you came for. Neither brand is better. Both brands make excellent saws at the professional level, and both make saws that disappoint at the homeowner level if you use them wrong. The decision framework is simple. Ask yourself 3 questions. First, how often do you use a chainsaw per year? Under 20 times, you are a homeowner. 20 to 100, you are farm and ranch. Over 100 on actual working days, you are semi-professional or professional. Second, what is the closest dealer network to where you live? If Stihl dealers are closer and more numerous in your area, that tips the balance towards Stihl at every level. If Husqvarna has stronger professional dealer coverage in your region, that tips toward Husqvarna. This is not a brand preference. It is a practical maintenance reality. Third, what do you cut and where? Light timber at consistent elevation and temperature, the playing field levels. Heavy timber at variable altitude and temperature, Husqvarna's Autotune and power delivery give it an edge. Marathon daily professional use where longevity matters more than peak power, Stihl's cylinder construction gives it an edge. Run those 3 questions against your situation, and the answer will be clear. Not because one brand is better, because one brand fits your situation better. That is the definitive answer on Stihl versus Husqvarna. I am saw honest. Do not buy blind.